age 42, 1985, back in West Virginia. They had the worst flood in 100 years. This time, there were 63 people that died. And I happened to be right in the middle of it again. I was on a hunting trip, and we had stayed in a cabin that night. We were leaving the next morning to go backpacking in an area, and it rained like, it rained. I know now how Noah felt. It rained that much. So we get up in the morning, the water was everywhere. It was like we were in a lake, and one of the guys had one of those large, big four-wheel drive vehicles with the big tires, and we thought, well, we'll just get up on the side of the mountain quickly. We get up on the side, were able to get out of there, and thought that we could drive to safety. Well, as we're going down some roads, a house went by us in the river, a house, then another house, and then several cars. We get up on some high points and look down in the valleys. Whole big steel bridges were gone. There were areas that the road was gone for a half mile. Well, again, we're trying to find our way out. And up ahead, there's a little girl, 4, 5, 6 years old, standing beside the road. Right in front of her, the road was gone, wiped away. So we thought, hey, we gotta get out and move her. So we go out, approach her, and she was crying, and said, sweetheart, let us take you home. Where's your dad? She said, my dad was right here beside of me in his truck 5 minutes ago. The road broke away, and the car and her dad were gone. So we got her, and were able to take her to her house. Age 44, I'm in communist Russia. And we go over, this is when it was still communist. And I thought, boy, it'd be a neat thing to slip some Bibles in. Now, you weren't allowed to take Bibles in, so I gathered 8 Bibles up, stashed them around in my suitcases, and off we go to Russia. At the airport, everything there back then, what was communist, was really pretty lame, as it were. Not a fun place to be. And as we're in the airport, there's only 3 custom things open. This person and this person absolutely went through everything in your luggage. So I'm thinking, well, Lord, I know you want these Bibles in there. Just get me to that one in the middle that is not really paying very much attention. So you have to stand there with your part. My wife and I were there, and the guy looks at you and kind of grunts and says, there, go there. Well, that was the guy who was checking me. I thought, well, your goose is cooked now, pal. So I get the cart, I walk toward the guy. This guy that pointed turned around and looked the other way. So I did what any naturally born sneaky person would do. I turned the cart and go over to the one in the middle, and right through. God got the Bibles. While we were there, I was arrested 3 separate times. I tend to push the envelope a little bit. I'd met a dissident and spent an entire day with him. I told our group leader I wasn't feeling well that day and I was going to stay in. What name was Igor. And Igor and I had a great time that day. He takes me all over. We got pulled over by the police once. Igor says, said still. He said, Igor can speak pretty good English. In fact, his grammar was better than mine. It was a little embarrassing. But sit still, baby. Igor jumps out of the car, runs back, talks to him. I see him do the old billfold trick. I don't know how to say bribe in Russia, but that's what was happening. So he slipped him some rubles and waved goodbye. We drove on. Later on, I was at subway station about midnight, trying to buy some things on the black market. There were some things there I just had to have. So we weren't supposed to do that. Well, the police came up, and the guy I was dealing with, he said, "Pressure." I go, "What? Pressure?" Well, that's what they call the police, crushers, because they carry big sticks and they crush it. So the police come up, two of them, grab us, each arm, take us out to a paddy wagon. Now, my wife's in the hotel. I felt like I was being swept out to sea again. No one knew where I was. He throws the Russian guy in the truck, and he grabs my arm, and he looks at me for a moment, and I start talking. Of course, I speak no Russian. And he realized I was an American. And he says, "You go. What? You don't ask him why. You go. The door was open. You're out of there." And there was a couple of other tense times, too, which was a little interesting. Age 47. I'm in communist China now. And I'm on a bicycle trip. And the bicycle in China, in the summer, it's 100 degrees, 100% humidity. I thought I was in good bicycling shape. We used that second thing as a ramp with the bikes. No, I'm just kidding. So, the first day was a 25-mile ride, no problem. Second day, a 25-mile ride. The third day, a 110-mile ride. So, they told us it's going to be a big day, we're going to start early, so we're up and riding. After about 3 hours, I'm not feeling too good. So the group we were with, they would have little stations for us to stop about every 3 hours so we could get more water and have snacks. Snacks was one of my favorite things. So I pulled in there, I go up to him and I said, "Hey, I think I'm getting the flu." He said, "Well, what's up?" I said, "Well, I'm dizzy, I'm nauseated, I'm real red, and look, I get chill bumps all over. I'm starting to get cold." And he said, "Well, heat stroke." I said, "What?" Now, I looked up this morning about heat strokes. It says, to avoid heat stroke, avoid becoming dehydrated, and avoid vigorous activities in hot, humid weather. China, 100 degrees, 100% humidity. Signs are nausea, fatigue, headache, weakness, dizziness, the absence of sweat. That's it. Well, I sat down, and he said, "Well, how many bottles of water have you drank?" Well, I got my bottle out and proudly showed him that I drank about that much out of my bottle of water, which obviously wasn't near enough. So I sat down, drank water, ate cookies. We sat there and much of a snack. So he said, "Well, we're going to put you in the band to kind of watch you." I said, No. I came to China to ride the bicycle. I'll be okay. I promise I'll be good. I'll drink water. Well, I was. I drank water. We stopped for lunch about 1. Now we go in, and here's this round table. There were 2 16, Sherry, you'll love this. There's 2 16-ounce bottles of Pepsi there. Well, I'm a Pepsi freak. I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. But at 7:30 every morning, I've got a Coke or a Pepsi. So I drank rapidly both 16-ounce bottles of water. I drank multiple cups of tea and 5 bowls of soup. Hydration, yeah. I'll show them who can hydrate. I'll be the hydration kid. So when we're finished, one would think you got to go to the bathroom, right? So I said, I'll go to the potty. So I go in the bathroom. I can't do anything. I stand there. I'm not doing anything more. So I go out and thought, well, it'll eventually happen. All that day, I drank water, no bathroom. That night, no bathroom. I mean, was I dehydrated or what? Next day, no bathroom until about 3 o'clock. So, bicycling in China. Age 50, I'm in Africa now. And we're going a safari, camera safari, not a gun safari. So we're going along, and we're with the guy and another guy, and all of a sudden, we are charged around the bush by an elephant just like that. I think that's his twin. So this thing is coming right at us. And of course, what does any reasonable person want to do is turn left and run as fast as you can. The guy grabs my arm. He goes, Wanda, Wanda. That was me, Wanda. I love that. He called me Wanda. He said, Wanda, don't move, Wanda. I said, what? Don't move, Wanda. If you want to run so bad. So we didn't, I didn't run. And the elephant, that they don't see real well. And after a while, and it was snorting. Now, remember what I told you I couldn't do bicycling in China with an elephant 15 foot in front of me, snorting and going, I wet my pants. Actually, I didn't. I just thought that sounded good. So, that 2 nights later, there's a place there called the Tree Tree. And it's supposed to be a great place to watch animals at night. Because, you know, a lot of the animals are nocturnal. So you walk across this walkway on top of the trees. You're only allowed a small bag in instead of all your luggage. So we get there. The guy takes me to my room. We open the door, and that room is so hot. So he goes over and opens the window. I thought, well, that's good. And so I looked out the window, and there's all kinds of limbs right outside the window. And I'm thinking, well, window, limbs, snakes, monkeys, creepy, crawly things that could come in my room. And I was rooming alone. And I guess I might as well admit, I'm somewhat of a fraidy cat. So anyway, it was hot, so I said, yeah, we'll leave it open. So I go out, and you could stay up down on the viewing platform as late as you wanted to, watching the animals come up to this water hole. I watched the water buffalo and an elephant kind of mess around for territory. There were big cats coming out, lions, a lot of neat places to see the animals, because you were literally almost right over top of it. So about 2:30, I'm starting to get sleepy, and I got to have my beauty rest. So I thought, I got to go back to the room and go to bed. So I go back to the room, open my door, and 2 things. Wow, it's cool in here. Then I remember, my window's open. Wonder what's in the room. So I close the door and I start looking around the room. Well, I know something big and bad's going to be in there to get me. But fortunately, I couldn't see anything. So I go over and sit down on the bed to take my shoes off. I sat down on the bed, and I mean, just like that. So I sat on something, and then you felt something just underneath. Well, I'm fast, but I didn't realize I was that fast. In a heartbeat, I'm on the other side of the room, looking back. Under the covers of my bed, something about this big, about this high, and the blankets were just doing like this. I thought, it's got to be a cobra. You're thinking something really bad. It's a big snake under the bed. So, I don't know why I didn't go say, help me. But I picked a chair up, and I approached the bed, and I just wailed at that thing with that chair. I mean, every time I'd hit it, it would move like that. So I